So I don't just that idea of endings reinterprets
powerful
the experience. Yeah,
that's pretty profound.
Yeah, I think that is probably what's happening in a small way in our mind. Like you're right when the end of a story hits you, it's just like that's where everything is coming in.
Yeah, that's why people get so worked up or mad about a good or a bad ending.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I think it seems like you are saying in a way like I want the storyteller to make their point and make it clear and that have that impact me. And there's a certain type of story where it's like the closure is so satisfying, and then you get that moment. Yeah. And then there's a certain other type of story where things are left more ambiguous, or depending on the characters, where you kind of have to sit with it for a while to even know what you feel, because that initial feeling can be jarring, where you're like, I'm not getting the resolve, or like I'm not getting the clear message, or if I'm left being like, what was the filmmaker trying to say? Mm-hmm. Initially, that can be frustrating, but upon further reflection, you're like, well, I'm thinking about it a lot, and it's struck. Like David Lynch is perfect with that, very surreal, very unsatisfying endings as far as a classical story goes. Mm-hmm. But you're left thinking and discussing his movies for your whole life, and he'll never give you what the answer is. Yeah. And I think that's beautiful, because you're like, well, now there's way more kind of emphasis on different interpretations, and there's no one singular, this is what it is.
Yeah. Is it beautiful, Mike? Or is it just flat out ugly?
What?
Lynch?
I love David Lynch.
I haven't seen enough of his movies to know.
Not a fan.
What about Inception and the spinning?
Well, I thought was
kind
obvious.
of like
I thought that was obvious.
That idea of wanting things to be unsatisfying, so you talk about it, but so obvious, talk about the ending.
Yeah,
it's like it's spoon feeding. But
what with Inception?
Yeah.
Well, I thought Inception was obvious. It wiggles. To me, that says everything.
Okay, now I don't have a strong opinion either way. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I have a strong feeling about not talking about it.
Because he wants us to talk about it.
Yeah, if we talk about it, we fall into his trap.
We're not gonna.
It's just what he wants.
Oh, I really want to watch David Lynch movies, and let's talk about those, because even if everyone hates them, it's something.
I will definitely do that.
Really, it will make you want to talk about it, even if you hate it. It'll get a reaction.
I agree. I agree with you in the sentiment of it. I don't know if I agree with you to the extreme, but I notice sometimes there's movies that I just am not particular about.
A movie
the
can
ending.
have an arbitrary ending, and it can not work. It's if you can pull it off, it can be a beautiful thing. But it also can just be a middle finger to the audience.
Yeah, which that I don't like. But just giving something to. I think that when there's a movie that I think about for 3 or 4 days after, that's usually when I know maybe I didn't love it right after finishing it, but then if I keep thinking about it, then I start to realize, there was something about that really impacted me because I'm still thinking about it. I haven't just let it go. Sometimes I'll just let things go, and it's like, that was a movie, and I watched it, and now I'm done.
I think that's important for making a piece of art. If you're just making something and you have something very important to say, and then you just pile a bunch of things on top of it so no one gets the message, then you probably messed up. But if you're kind of not looking to do that and not having this is the message, then it's like you want to just let people figure it out themselves.
I definitely don't think it's right to spoon feed, but I think that you can go too far with leaving things just way too wide open, and that's David Lynch to me. David Lynch has reminded me of someone that pretentious art students need to feel like they're in some special club where they're like, it's just so, you have to interpret it. And when really it's like the Emperor's New Clothes, they've fallen victim to exclaiming about the Emperor's New Clothes. There's nothing there. And I'm like, that's how it feels to me. It feels so shallow and so like he's using all kinds of craft in a great way. Like he's good with craft to tell nothing stories.
Maybe
tell
there's
meaninglessness.
Well, it's not. It's whatever it means to you.
Come at us.
It just
David.
doesn't mean anything to you. So therefore, it's not meaningful.
I mean, that's been my own experience. Like, if I'm not saying that someone else couldn't experience something different. Obviously, you have.
Well, I'm thinking about like Mulholland Drive, or about maybe less ambiguous Blue Velvet,
I didn't see Blue Velvet.
or Eraserhead.
I'm remembering how I felt.
Eraserhead
after
is pretty weird.
Lost
ending.
Highway.
I've never seen Lost Highway.
It's garbage.
I started
Don't.
watching Twin Peaks.
Yeah, Twin Peaks is a great example.
And the first couple episodes, I was so interested.
Well, Twin Peaks is a long show that was in the 90s, and then they made a whole
Yeah,
another long.
I bet you
new
there's
seasons.
actual story structure in those.
There is,
Yeah.
but there's also a lot of abstract stuff.
Do you guys ever watch he has a YouTube channel now, and it's just him giving the weather in Los Angeles every single day. For almost all of 2020, there's a YouTube video of him giving the weather. It's like, today,
I know. I
clear
love it.
skies, sunny, 79 degrees. And that's it.
That's great.
It's so funny because Nomadland is so grounded. I don't know how we ended up talking about.
Yeah,
David
we got
Lynch.
talking
just
about
ambiguous endings. Yeah.
And it's not even like a very like dramatic ending that
No,
people are going
it's
to be talking
not.
about. We've got down this rabbit hole.
But it's very, very subtly ambiguous, where you're like, I'll get from that whatever I sort of am feeling in what I am sort of predicting for this character.
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
I appreciated that. Like, that's not so far in the ambiguous where I'm just left like this one's.
Lost Highway,
I
I've
could
heard,
feel-
is really dark. So you probably think, I haven't seen it, but you're probably remembering that and going, okay, David Lynch is a psycho.
Back to David Lynch.
You know what? Fair enough. He is.
I haven't
pretty
seen
weird,
all
but-
of Mulholland Drive, but it wasn't.
You haven't seen all of it?
I think I walked out on that one.
How can you talk
you
about
did?
ambiguous endings if you haven't seen it?
Well,
Well, I didn't talk about that one.
Bummer.
Ambiguous ending.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really want to talk about Mulholland Drive. I think it's really worth talking
Well,
about.
one of these days.
I mean,
Value my time.
I might be the only
But